When you have to imagine a university campus, what do you imagine? You might imagine about education, you might imagine about learning, you might imagine about opportunities, faculties, classrooms, students growing and whatnot. But the last thing that might pop up in your mind would be caste discrimination. And this caste discrimination has emerged, has been on university campuses, and a new law to address this very caste discrimination has become controversial in the university campuses. So much that it has raised protests across the country, and right now Supreme Court has got its plea to understand the scope and what does this law do. I am talking about UGC's, that is University Grant Commission's, new equity rules that have been brought to address caste discrimination, but the controversy is about that the anti-caste discrimination rules are non-inclusionary. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we would be talking about what exactly UGC rule has brought out, what is in the notification, what is in the regulation that has become so contentious. Is it actually controversial or is it made up? And we will be looking into the constitutional provisions around it as well. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly is happening. As of now, across the country, be it in college campuses, be it across administration, we are seeing a huge uproar, and this uproar is against the new UGC equity regulations that have been brought in. So if we talk about University Grant Commission, it is the regulatory and monitoring authority that exists for higher education institutions, and after 2012, it has been in 2026 that the equity regulations have been brought in. But back in 2012, nothing sort of controversial, no backlash was seen. What emerged that we are seeing this level of protest, and as of now a petition has been filed in Supreme Court challenging these very regulations. So let us try to decode all of this one by one. So as I said, the last time UGC guidelines came on equity was in 2012. As of now, the new guidelines that have been given, as of now they remain challenged in Supreme Court, and there is a lot of backlash that is being received. So let us try to bifurcate, especially first in terms of what was present in the earlier framework and what is present in today's framework. So if you look at earlier framework which was brought in 2012, the guidelines which were given in terms of anti-discrimination, they were advisory. That means they had no statutory backing to it. There was provisions of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe cells and also equal opportunity cells, but this was recommended and suggested, not made compulsory. And there was also no uniform enforcement across the state colleges, central colleges, etc. And because of all of this, there was limited accountability which was present. But what has been done in the new framework which has been put forth, that there will be a proper statutory regulation. That means there is nothing that is being suggested. The guidelines need to be enforced, and this mechanism will be uniformly applied across the nation. There will be a time-bound procedure, and if there is any sort of non-compliance, there will be penalties. So if you look at the broad features itself, you will clearly understand that initially it was advisory, it was non-uniform, it was fragmented. Now it is becoming mandatory and also enforceable and uniform. Now we will be moving towards the detailed points to understand that what has become controversial in 2026 framework when we are talking about equity guidelines. So the first level that we need to understand here, that what is the institutional architecture that has been given in these guidelines. So as per UGC equity guidelines of 2026, every higher education institute, HEI, they have to establish 4 of these things. Must establish, please remember. First, equal opportunity center. Second, equity committee. Third, institutional ombudsman person. That means there will be grievance redressal as well. And there will be also equity helpline and online portal. So these things need to be established mandatorily. There is no provision of non-compliance, there is no space for non-uniformity, and when we are moving towards applicability, where it would be applied on central universities, it will be applied on state universities and also private and deemed universities. Now, based on the provisions that have been given, there will be certain enforcement powers. Now, the mandatory compliance that we are talking, that will be looked into by whom? UGC. How it will be looked into? Through reports. And if there has been non-compliance, there will be penalties, there will be derecognition of universities, and the funding might also be taken away. So, all in all, we get to see that there is a presence of regulatory accountability which is being created, especially in campus governance that was being looked out by UGC. So, as of now, do you think everything seems fine? Everything seems fine as of now because we have not discussed the contention point. We have not discussed the controversial point. The controversial point here is the fact the regulation says that the caste-based discrimination which is being defined, that means all the establishments that are being talked about to address the caste discrimination, in that context, the caste discrimination has been defined only in relation to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward communities. That means if there is any problem, if there is any issue of caste discrimination, any issue related to equity, any related to opportunity, then those establishments might be approached by scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and OBC communities. The problem, the controversy here is about that certain categories are saying that there is no explicit protection that has been given to general category individuals or the non-reserved person. They can also face caste harassment, they can also have caste discrimination done against. So, these people have not been included, and because they are not included, the 2026 guidelines, which are no random guidelines, they talk about equity, they have been named as equity guidelines, they are non-inclusionary because they have no provision related to general category and non-reserved persons. That is the exact core problem, the controversy that has unfolded. The fact that the problem of caste discrimination has also become category specific, and that is why protection is also being category specific. The protection is not available to everybody, and that means there will be an unequal access to grievance redressal as well. So, when we are talking about anti-discrimination, can we have discrimination in that anti-discrimination guideline that a certain category does not get to complain, does not get a redressal to their grievance, does not get their problems, their equity related issues, opportunity related issues resolved? And that has been the main point of controversy, where there are protests across the campuses, where there are protests across the administrative setups that we are seeing. So, I would like at this point, when I have shared what the controversy is, I have simplified this for you. Why don't you tell me in the comment section, do you really think this is a problem or this is not a problem? Do you think this is non-inclusionary or it is non-inclusionary? And why do you think so? Let me know in the comment section. Now, in this context, this is why the controversy is unfolding. On this context, we have to understand that why protests and political backlash are coming in. Controversial point we have understood. Because of that controversial point, many are highlighting that there is selective protection. The law is protecting some and it is excluding others. Furthermore, this guideline will lead to polarization in university campuses. As I said, when you talk about university campuses, we are looking towards education, we are talking about learning, opportunity. But this will instill a fear of caste identity and the institutionalization that will take place in the name of caste identity. Furthermore, this will also create a place for procedural overreach. That means there will be excessive regulatory control over the universities, and it also shows that all stakeholders in a certain condition have not been consulted. So as a result, sometimes what do we see? That the framework that we have made, or the framework that has been suggested, that might be to bring in equity, that might be to develop equity, but sometimes the framework might be flawed. It might or it might not be, I am not saying it in any direction, that it deepens social divisions instead of resolving them. One thing I would like to bring into this discussion is to the fact, just as some reminder or food for thought, that casteism cannot be dealt with reverse casteism. Similarly, when we are talking about racism, it cannot be dealt with reverse racism. So we need to keep this in mind when we are talking about equity, when we are talking about equality. At that very time, we have to ensure whatever is the framework does not divide more. It brings together people more, and if that is lacking in the framework, if that is lacking in the policy, then this division, be it across faith, be it across caste, this will keep deepening over the years, over the decades that we are seeing. Now on this note, it becomes very important for us to look into where this case has reached, because as of now, there is a lot of subjectivity and debate to it, and that is why it has gone to the Supreme Court, because there has been a plea in Supreme Court which is directly challenging the UGC regulation, which is defining the caste discrimination, and there has been a direct seek that there should be a caste neutral provision in this guideline. Now, what exactly has been challenged in this plea is the non-inclusionary definition, the definition I had just told you in terms of the guidelines, and the exclusion of non-reserved individuals from protection. This is what has been challenged. And in context with this, the constitutional articles such as Article 14, which talks about equality before law, Article 15, which talks about prohibition of discrimination, and importantly, the principle of equal protection of laws have been cited so that the non-inclusionary definition can be turned into a caste neutral definition. And that is why the argument that has been presented is the fact that discrimination is wrong irrespective of the caste category. If the discrimination is occurring in any category, that is wrong, and that needs to be addressed. It cannot be only for certain respective categories, and at least law should not create graded victims. Okay, this category is a proper victim, this category can be left out. That is why the legislation, the guidelines, mandatory guidelines that has been given by UGC are a form of delegated legislation, but they cannot go outside the mandate of constitution. They should conform to the constitution, and that is why the legal argument has been given. As of now, Supreme Court is examining the validity and also the scope of regulations. We will get to see in which direction the final say of the Supreme Court comes in. Till then, I would want you to let me know your thoughts in this particular regards. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.